A dog stood trembling in the middle of a busy road. Her body was fragile, her legs weak, her eyes wide with terror. Cars sped past her, horns blaring, the chaos of the world around her only heightening her fear. This was Gracie, a dog who had known nothing but suffering, a dog whose story could have ended tragically. But what happened next is nothing short of a miracle. In the midst of all that chaos, one man stopped. Where others saw just another stray, he saw a life worth saving. He stepped out of his car, ignoring the blaring horns and the danger to himself, and approached her slowly. Gracie froze, her small frame trembling uncontrollably. She didn't understand kindness. She had never experienced it. Her entire world had been fear, pain, and rejection. But in that moment, her life took a turn that no one, least of all Gracie, could have anticipated. Gracie was in an appalling state when she was rescued. Her ribs jutted out from her thin frame, and her fur was patchy, matted, and dull. Every movement seemed to drain what little energy she had left. Her rescuer, Dr. Mafis, a compassionate veterinarian, rushed her to his clinic. He knew she didn't have much time. The team at the clinic gathered around her, their faces filled with concern as they assessed her condition. It wasn't good. She was severely malnourished, dehydrated, and sick. Her body was frail, but it was her eyes that spoke the loudest. They were filled with fear, a fear that ran deep, born of neglect and suffering. Some thought she was too far gone. As Gracie lay on the examination table, her breathing shallow, there were whispers that the kindest option might be to let her go peacefully. But Dr. Mafis didn't see a lost cause. He saw a fighter. He saw a dog who, despite everything, had clung to life. Inspired by her resilience, he made the decision to fight for her. And so began Gracie's journey, a journey of hope, healing, and transformation. The road to recovery was anything but easy. In the beginning, Gracie wouldn't eat. She stayed curled up in the corner of her kennel, her body tense, her eyes darting around the room. Every sound, every movement seemed to frighten her. She had been through so much that even the smallest act of kindness felt unfamiliar. But Dr. Mafis was determined to show her that she was safe, that she was loved. One day, he tried something different. Instead of coaxing her to eat, he sat down beside her kennel with his own lunch. He opened his lunchbox, took out a sandwich, and began to eat, quietly, calmly, without making any sudden moves. He didn't look directly at her. He just sat there, letting her see that he was no threat. Minutes passed, and then something incredible happened. Gracie took a step forward. It was hesitant, shaky, but it was a step. She sniffed the air, her eyes still wary. And then, slowly, she took a bite of the food that had been left for her. It was a small moment, but it was monumental. It was the first crack in the walls of fear that surrounded her. Day by day, Gracie grew braver. She started to venture out from her corner, to stretch her legs, to explore the world outside her kennel. The first time she wagged her tail, it was barely perceptible, a tiny movement that spoke volumes about the progress she was making. She began to interact with other dogs at the clinic, cautiously at first, but with growing confidence. For the first time in her life, she experienced the gentle side of the world. She learned that not all humans were cruel, that not every touch brought pain. Slowly but surely, her spirit began to heal. Through it all, Dr. Mafis was by her side. He understood that trust couldn't be rushed, that it had to be earned one small moment at a time. He celebrated every milestone, no matter how small. A wag of her tail, a playful bark, a moment of curiosity. And then one day, something extraordinary happened. Gracie, who had once been too afraid to even look at him, approached him on her own. She rested her head on his knee, her eyes soft, her body relaxed. It was her way of saying, "I trust you." Originally, Dr. Mafis had planned to find Gracie a new home once she recovered. But as the weeks turned into months, he realized something profound. Gracie wasn't just a patient to him, she was family. The bond they had formed during her recovery was unlike anything he had experienced before. When he looked at her, he didn't see a stray or a rescue. He saw a survivor, a companion, a friend. And so he made the decision to adopt her. Gracie, once a terrified dog trembling in the middle of a busy road, now had a forever home. Today, Gracie is unrecognizable from the dog she once was. Her coat is shiny, her eyes are bright, and her tail wags with joy. She runs and plays with boundless energy, her every movement a celebration of life. But what makes her story truly special is the tradition she shares with Dr. Mafis. Every year on the anniversary of her rescue, they celebrate. It's a quiet celebration, just the two of them, but it's filled with meaning. They commemorate the day she was given a second chance, the day her life changed forever. It's not just a tradition, it's a symbol of their bond, a reminder of the power of kindness. Gracie's story is more than just a story about one dog. It's a testament to the incredible impact compassion can have. It's a reminder that even the smallest gestures, like sitting beside a frightened dog and sharing a quiet moment, can create miracles. Her journey from the brink of death to a life filled with love and joy is proof that no life is too small or too broken to save. If Gracie's story has touched your heart, you have the power to make a difference. Across the world, countless animals like Gracie are waiting for their own miracle. By supporting animal rescue organizations, volunteering at shelters, or simply sharing stories like this one, you can help create more happy endings. Your kindness, no matter how small, can change a life. So let's spread the message. Let's remind the world that kindness matters, that it can transform lives, and that it can create miracles. Share Gracie's story, join our community, and inspire others to take action. Together, we can make the world a better place, one act of kindness at a time.